Hey darlings. The restaurant's owner, Anton Olegovich, was furious in his office. It's cold and dirty outside, and income in November fell even more than in October. What is wrong? The location is central and the restaurant has a good reputation, but the customers are in trouble. Alina, he called. Alina was a young woman who had been acting as the interim manager for almost 3 months. She was his lover, and she herself invited Anton Olegovich to put her in this position, so that Alina would be her eyes and ears. Who else to trust? She ends up being the closest to him, and the girl, although stupid and uneducated, coped with the role perfectly. He knew everything about his team, who drank an extra cup of tea and when, who breathed what, who wanted what. Sometimes Alina overheard conversations of customers that interested the owner. It's always good to know things about rich people that other people don't know. Yes, Anton Olegovich, you called me? The girl approached him and almost pressed herself, but he looked at her menacingly. One of the conditions for their connection was that no one at work knew anything. Today after closing, no one should leave. There will be a meeting. Alina blinked her offended eyes and replied, Fine, I'll tell you everything.
No, Alina.
Don't pass it on, but make sure everyone stays. The girl pouted and walked into the hall with a graceful gait. Anton Olegovich even licked his dry lips. Alina's legs were luxurious, and her skirt was symbolic. When the restaurant closed, the owner entered the hall. Well, I brought you together today to understand, to find out the reason for the drop in profits. One of the waitresses, a little girl named Carmen, said, Why be surprised? There were 7 returns from my tables alone today. The other waiters also started shouting. I'm already tired of this. You serve whatever you want, but we have to listen. Anton looked at Alina. She stood a little to the side and examined her nails with special attention. Very interesting. Why don't I know anything about returns? He turned to the chef. Semyon Andreevich, what's the matter? A very impressive man jumped up. What is the problem? And that's what I wanted to ask you. How can cutlets made from minced meat be tasty and dogs won't eat them? And the chops. Have you ever heard of chops made with frozen meat? Semyon Andreevich, you know very well how expensive products have become. To stay afloat and pay everyone a salary, you need to buy something cheaper. But the chef's task is to know how to cook with what is available. What started here? Everyone was loud. The waiters, the cooks, and even the cleaning lady shouted that they had to carry rags for the floor because Anton Olegovich didn't care about anything. He listened to all of this for about 10 minutes and finally got tired. Okay then, so I'm bad at everything? It's because? Apparently because I close my eyes to what you are doing. Take Carmen, for example. Tell me, who do you get cutlets and other meat products from in the restaurant? Did you know this is a police matter? Yes, I'm a waste, a return. They'll throw it in the trash anyway. And I have a dog shelter near my house. They add it to porridge. It doesn't matter. You're taking someone else's. Or, Semyon Andreevich, a few days ago you fed some semi-homeless people in my restaurant and for free. Well, where did you come from? You are all shamelessly robbing me. This month I will deduct everyone for their mistakes, so don't complain on payday. If the situation does not improve, I will continue calculating. People began to talk indignantly, but Anton Olegovich had already headed for the exit. Everything was bubbling in my chest. That means he gives them a job, a salary, and they give them... But that's okay. He'll invent something so that life doesn't seem like a fairy tale to them. We are completely crazy. He was so angry that he left without even waiting for Alina. I only remembered her at home, but I decided it was too late. She would arrive alone. I need to buy her something tomorrow so she doesn't get in a bad mood. Anton Olegovich has never been married. At 40, he had no family or children. Only these Alinakas replaced each other from time to time. Yes, he had status and needed to go to appointments not alone, but accompanied. The young and beautiful girls who accompanied him always aroused the envy of his coworkers. Anton Olegovich poured himself some brandy and sat down on a chair. Here he is successful, he is not afraid, everything is with him, but there is no happiness. He didn't like these empty nights, because all kinds of thoughts started to pop into his head. Once upon a time he loved it too. I loved a beautiful girl, but the love of money won. He simply betrayed his sweet Eva. She believed in him, loved him. 3 magical months together. The man shook his head. No, that is not the case. We need to do something. He picked up the phone and called his old friend, who had a big hotel in this city. They agreed to meet at a nearby bar and have fun there. Half an hour later, Anton was already making an order, and 5 minutes later Ivan appeared. He didn't look his best. They hadn't seen each other for a long time, so Anton asked, "Van, you're a little rumpled. Are you sick or what?" He waved his hand. "What kind of disease is there?" Alenka filed for divorce. Anton choked. "As? She didn't love you. You had so much love. Why was it?" "She is. It was me, the idiot, who ruined everything. I have a new secretary. So cute, you know, like it's on the cover of a magazine. Sticky, sticky. Well, I couldn't resist. Well, I thought, once and that's it. And this idiot came to my wife, like, 'Let Ivan go, we're in love.' It cannot be." Anton looked at his friend. He wanted to say, "How could you be such a bastard?" Everyone knew his wife. A wonderful woman who gave Vanka a son and a daughter. She was not only beautiful and intelligent, but also known as an excellent housewife. Friends loved to visit him at home, because it was not possible to try these treats in any restaurant. My daughter studied at school and got top marks. The son was still in kindergarten, but he already had many certificates in some type of sport. And there was love in the family, which attracted guests to their home. Maybe Anton. And it won't stop. You know Alenka. Did you ask for forgiveness? You ask. Almost on my knees. But she doesn't want to listen to me. And don't pressure him. Don't scare him with anything. She has a separate business. Well, what can I say? Let's hope for the best. Thank you, friend. They drank and then some more. Vanya seemed to relax a little. Well, what happened to you? Listen, I'm so tired of everything. In the restaurant, the workers were completely babbling. I give them my word, they give me 10. Profits are falling. This Alina, I don't know, seems to be avoiding it. Ivan looked at Anton thoughtfully. You need to rest. Go somewhere with Alina. Although it's better alone. I wish I could. But who should we leave the restaurant to? And even in the state it is in now, they will quickly let me go around the world without a steady hand. I think I can help you. Anton smiled. As? You will take command yourself while I rest.
No.
I have contacts of someone. She, how can I tell you, is like a person who takes everyone out of a crisis. She has some kind of legal education there, and in a short time she can make the least profitable place profitable. I don't believe. These people don't exist. Still exist. It's true that she doesn't charge cheaply, but the result is 100%. It looks promising. Let's do this way. I'll give you the phone number. You set up a meeting and then, when you tell me if you liked it, I'll tell you the rest. What could be wrong with her? Well, I wouldn't like to talk about it now. You are intriguing. Anton took the phone number and carefully wrote down the name. It is necessary, Elvira. And he promised to meet her tomorrow. They had a great time with Ivan. He went to ask his wife for forgiveness and Anton went home to sleep. The next day, his head hurt so much that he even closed the curtains in his office. I called Alina at my house. She walked in and purposely stopped away from him. Well, Alina, little fish, don't be in a bad mood. There were urgent matters. Alina was silent. I made an appointment. If everything goes well today, I'll take you to the sea. Alina looked in disbelief, then screamed with joy and ran towards him. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. That's it, run. This is probably our savior. Alina let Elvira in and left the office. We chatted quickly. A stern woman of about 40 instantly answered any question, and Anton was convinced that he was far from prepared for her. She seemed to know everything about business, but at the same time she was very strict and correct. Several times it seemed to Anton Olegovich that the woman's face was somehow vaguely familiar. But my head hurt so much and my eyes couldn't focus. He promised to call back, and the woman left. Anton noticed her impeccable suit, high heels, and perfect figure. I immediately dialed Ivan's number. Judging by the voice, it was even worse. Vanka, where did you find this miracle? I felt like a student taking a test. He laughed. You are not alone. Do you remember last year they wanted to take over my hotel? So, only Elvira helped. Yes, it's just a treasure. By the way, I've already ordered tickets. Wait, don't be in a hurry. What is it? Elvira. In general, she was in prison and her sentence was quite long. In general, she is a former prisoner. Here Anton lost the gift of speech. In terms of? Like this. But I assure you that she will raise any enterprise from the ruins. Of course, everything is completely unofficial. I trust her as much as I trust myself. Anton thought for a moment. He didn't care how she would re-educate her team here. And if she can handle it, then he doesn't care who she was in the past. And let the workers taste the joy of change. Anton went out into the hall. There weren't many people. He waved his hand, beckoning the team. More or less. Starting tomorrow, Alina Andreevna and I are on vacation. You will be led by a new manager. You will do whatever she says. And you better never disobey. This lady has a criminal past and connections. He saw the employees' perplexed looks and simply rejoiced. He immediately called Elvira back and explained that she could start tomorrow. He will leave all necessary documents and papers on the office table. Early in the morning, she and Alina flew to warmer climates. 3 weeks flew by like a day. Anton called Elvira every now and then, she reported, and he understood that if everything was as she said, then things at his restaurant were really getting worse. No one bothered him anymore as he took a brand new SIM card with him on vacation. At night, he called Elvira and told her he would arrive tomorrow. Okay, Anton Olegovich, I will be waiting for you. Yesterday he proposed to Alina. She happily agreed. Yes, she is simple, uneducated, but she is beautiful and has fire in bed. What more does he need? But he won't be alone. And on the last night before he came back, he dreamed about his ex, Eva. I haven't dreamed about it in so many years, but here it is with you. She laughed and called him somewhere. He followed her, smiling stupidly, and then ran. Eva kept calling him, and then disappeared over the edge of the cliff. He couldn't resist and flew down. I woke up from my own scream. Alina was sleeping. Anton went out onto the balcony. Once upon a time, many years ago, he and Eva met in a big restaurant in a big city. She was the manager and he was hired as her assistant. The love between them exploded immediately, like fire, like an explosion. We dated for 3 months and had already decided to get married. But then a great opportunity came up to win a big prize at a restaurant while the owner was on vacation. Everything may not have been revealed, but for some reason it was revealed. He had 2 options: return the money and lose his job, or not return it but open his own business and be successful. But Eve would have to answer for the money. He chose the latter. I had no idea what or how happened next. Went abroad. There he studied restaurant for a year, and when he returned, he changed his name and opened his own restaurant. Almost 20 years have passed. Anton and Alina, tanned and glowing, got out of the taxi. Strangely, the restaurant's parking lot was completely empty. Anton's heart sank greatly. He quickly walked to the restaurant. It was empty inside. Elvira was sitting at a table in the middle of the room. She took a sip of wine from a glass and looked at him with a smile. Hello, Kostya? Or are you already used to the name Anton? He winced as if he had been hit, and Elvira took off her glasses. Anton got cold. Eve, did you really find out? And I thought I would have to introduce myself. Well, come in. Don't be shy. Maybe wine? What is happening? Where is everyone? Where are the visitors? But there are no visitors, because there is no one to feed them. I tried very hard to find each of your employees a good place among competitors. You are crazy? You will answer me. So what am I doing? I answer. All 6 years I spent behind bars, that's all I did. I imagine this exact moment. How am I going to destroy Vanka's hotel business, only to then show up and boldly save it? I'll let your restaurant decay in 3 months, to the bottom. Anton sat down on a chair. Elvira pushed a stack of papers at him. Here, darling, this is a return gift from me to you. Penalty invoices. Your restaurant committed to organizing 2 weddings for very influential people in this city, but was unable to do so. As you understand, you were sentenced to a lot of money here. This is the decision to close your restaurant as unsanitary. This is the conclusion of the fire department. Well, in general, you can read it yourself. You have a lot of time now, almost like I did back then. Eva got up and headed towards the exit. I stopped near Alina. Thank you, friend. It couldn't have happened without you. The creatures must be punished, replied Anton's fiancée, so that it would be unpleasant for others. The engagement is over, bastard. The ring he gave Alina on vacation was on the table in front of Anton. The 2 women left, leaving him alone at the table, in a deep state of shock.